lesbians, queer women, what if the worst heartbreak of our lives, of your life, when you were literally lying in the bathtub with the lights off, playing Taylor Swift songs, was actually your big break? What if? Welcome to Queer Women Rising, where I phone lesbian friends, talk about queer love, how to dodge the dating drama, and embrace the peaceful connections we all deserve. I'm your host, Sophia Spallino. I'm so glad you're here. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're going to see my lovely little neck rash. This has been so freaking fun. Yeah. If you're a lesbian who's ever battled some autoimmune issues, I feel you. I feel like I have just been on a healing journey for a while, and I really don't know what to think about what's going on right now. I have had the craziest month when it comes to getting sick. I hope it's not just in the stars, and I hope you're not sick too, but it's totally been a thing. Like, it feels like I haven't been able to get better. Also, just like traveling a lot. I have been going a lot back and forth, going on dates and then going on queer country club retreats. And I feel like just the stress of travel and the risk of travel for someone with autoimmune issues is a thing, a real thing. So I got super sick, got bronchitis. Literally felt like someone was stepping on my chest for the past 2 weeks. I literally still keep coughing. So fun. And with all that being said, I will say it was worth it because all of the traveling was for the potential to find love and hang out with cool people and go on the queer country club retreats, which have been epic. So epic that we just sold our first time ever. Someone who's come on a retreat before wants to come again. So that just means a lot to me as a business owner, that I could create an experience that was that impactful, that this client wants to come back and not only sees the potential in finding her future wife at one of our retreats, but also just loves the transformation for herself, for her mindset, for her spirituality that comes with joining us on one of these lesbian retreats. As of right now, applications are open for our retreat coming up in August. So freaking pumped. If you're listening to this episode after that, there may be another retreat in the works. I'm not sure yet. If there is, you will see a link to get on a wait list or apply, or you could DM me the word waitlist or retreat on Instagram and I'll tell you more about it, send you a link if we're doing another one. Let me tell you, they're beautiful. I'm just feeling very grateful right now. I kind of woke up. I'm looking at my vision board. This year I decided to create a digital vision board. And on my vision board, I had go to Canyon Ranch. And to know that I've gotten to go now twice, by the time you hear this episode, maybe 3 times I've gotten to go to Canyon Ranch when it was a lifelong dream, like a bucket list thing. And to think that I've gotten to go so many times is like, how blessed am I? Truly, how blessed am I? The other day was just counting all the things in my life that I didn't know would be possible for me. Coming out of the closet felt like giving up a lot of dreams, a lot of hopes for a future. If you're in the lesbian dating world, you know how challenging it can be to date. Am I ever going to find someone who aligns with me? These are all things that we think, and the truth is you will. The truth is that if you've been hurt, you will love again. And life is fun and life is worth living. And if you are feeling like you're in a season where you've lost that zest, listen to this episode because you're going to not only hear from me, but from a guest who has been through a lot and has gone through so much heartbreak, divorce, all the things, but can still feel and experience a true love again. And if that's possible for me and possible for my guests, it's possible for you. So get ready for this one. It's going to be a great show. Let me tell you a little bit about it. Today's guest is a raw, glittering icon of the queer media, Zara Barry, the world's first mascara lesbian because we call ourselves lipstick lesbians being femmes. So she calls herself a mascara lesbian, and we get into that and why. She's the critically acclaimed author of Girl, Stop Passing Out in Your Makeup. She's also the former senior sex and dating writer at Elite Daily, the creator of the fictional audio drama Girls on Jane, a love letter to lesbian nightlife. Zara's story didn't begin with writing. She was a theater kid turned actress, director, but she had this crazy breakup, as we always do, that puts us on our path. And she's the most viral, honest voice in lesbian media. She has viral essays that are read by millions. She's the self-proclaimed gritty little sister of Sex and the City. And she's been through it all. We're going to get into the toxicity that we overcome as creative lesbians in relationships, and honestly, how we got from that pain to living our creative dreams. Zara is living the dream with a beautiful partner in West Hollywood, and it's possible for you to go through trouble in both your personal romantic life and in your career life and switch things up and come out on top. We're both evidence of what happens when a queer woman digs in, when a queer woman remembers her power, and when a queer woman rises. Hey, Zara, welcome.
Hi, girl. Thank you for having me.
Okay, I always start with, what letter of the LGBTQIA alphabet soup are you?
Okay, I
So,
am a old school lesbian. I am a lesbian
yeah, through and through. There's
through and
there's not
through.
How old were you when you realized that?
Okay, so I definitely like came out of the womb a lesbian. Like I never was attracted to guys. I had boyfriends. I kind of thought for a while maybe nobody likes sex or making out even before sex. And I was always like just fascinated by lesbians. If we ever saw them like in a restaurant, I'd be creepily staring at them, but I didn't really like know it was an option, I guess. I mean, I grew up in a liberal household and I'm super grateful for that because so many
Lucky.
of us don't. So I know I'm very like aware of that privilege. But I don't know, maybe being feminine, I wasn't quite sure. And then in high school, I hooked up with a girl at camp and I was like, okay, I'm definitely a lesbian. But I came out as bisexual first because it just felt like I could
Safe.
ease my way in. And then I
Yeah.
came out, yeah, a lot of us do. And then I fully came out when I fell in love, like hardcore love, and I was probably 19 or 20. And
Wow.
I'm 39 now. So it's been, it's been a minute, this lesbian life. What about you?
Thanks for asking. But also, I have to say, 39, I'm shocked because you look so young. You guys have to catch this on Spotify or YouTube because you're stunning. Like, you look
Thank
like a little
you.
lesbian Barbie. Uh, okay, thanks for asking. I'm jealous of your coming out experience and like having the liberal family because that's not the case. I love my family, but they're extreme conservatives. And
Okay.
yeah, if you know what I mean. And we don't agree on a lot of things, many important things. And it was really hard to grow up in that house and hear the things that I heard. It took me until like 28 to come out by. And then like 29, 30 was when I came out lesbian and left the relationship I was in with a man. So,
Okay. See, I
yeah.
think it's so to me admirable when people grow up in a conservative environment and come out. And I wonder like who would I be? I don't know what my story would be if I had a different. Like
Mm,
I feel like it gave me an unfair advantage. Like my mother was a model, so gay men were always around. My dad worked in the fragrance industry. I'm born in New York City. Like,
wow.
I all my siblings, they're all like open and so I'm just like I can't I don't even know if I would be out, if I
Yeah.
you never know. So it's just fascinating. So I think that's so admirable and says so much about you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But I think it's really cool that you've gotten to come where you've come from, and maybe you got your voice and your grounding a little sooner, which could be why you're so good at using it in the way you do. So you're using your privilege early coming out for good.
Thank you. Thank
Oh my
you.
gosh. Yeah, the work you're doing is wild. Do you just want to give me like a summary of your professional history for everyone listening? Because it's
Yeah.
intense.
So when I was younger, like I got terrible grades in school. And
No.
I just all, yeah, terrible, terrible grades. I did not care. I did not really try. I was obsessed with acting. I wanted to be an actor. I was like, surefire, that's what I was going to do. I booked my first movie when got to like miss my last couple months of high school. Dream come true. I'm like, oh, this will be easy. No, then I didn't book anything for like 4 years. So I was hardcore into acting and I was living in London because I'm a dual citizen and I had a good sort of situation there with having an American accent but a British passport. So it kind of gave me like
Mm.
a niche. And then I had like a horrible experience in London and I ended up moving to Florida where my parents lived. And I was like, I wanted just to complete life change. And I ended up running a teen outreach theater for high risk youth. And I loved it. Probably would have done it forever, but the universe had other plans for me. And then I had this terrible breakup, my first love, heart crushed, didn't know what to do with all the feelings. So I started blogging, not
Mm.
thinking anyone would read it. And I had kind of remembered in that experience, like, oh, yeah, in high school, and I'm going to age myself, but there was this popular social media before Facebook called LiveJournal. I don't know, you're probably too young for it.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
It was like early 2000s, all the sort of like punk kids had a live journal and you'd write about your life. And I loved it and just never thought about it, even though I had a pretty good following, but it was even before that was even a term. But I never thought about it until I started blogging. And I was like, oh, yeah, I used to do this. And then the blog, one piece I wrote about, I think heartbreak, went viral-ish. And the next thing I knew, I was like in the offices of Elite Daily, which made a big mainstream media company. And I ended up getting a job there as a staff writer. And I
Wow.
was the first staff writer that was like a lesbian. And I started writing about lesbian sex and dating. And it ended up shocking to all of us, doing pretty well. And I just kept that up. I wrote 2,000 articles, became a senior writer,
Oh my
founded their queer vertical. And then I was ready to move on. So then I ended up being the executive editor of a lesbian New York magazine called Go Magazine that I had been reading since I was a teenager. So it was very full circle. And I was there for a couple years. And then I'm one of those people, like I always have to change it up. And then I was married, and I ended up getting a divorce. I know I'm like, this is like a very detailed career story, but it kind of
No, we love it.
my personal life always kind of I guess because what I do is so personal, so my
Yeah.
personal life sort of informs it. But
Were you
right before I
writing
got
like about your relationships or about other people's relationships?
I had always written about my own stuff, but then when our marriage, we had a great relationship, but when it started to fall apart, I started writing fiction. So I created this, what do you kind of call it? It's an audio drama. So you can listen to it. It has like sound effects and a theme song, but it was this fiction thing called Girls on Jane. And it's about a fictional group of lesbians living in New York City, like drugs, sex, drama, humor, like just, it was just like such an outlet for me when I was so unhappy with my life. And then we ended up getting divorced and I just went freelance, started writing. I wrote a book right before then as well called Girl Stop Passing Out Your Makeup. And then I was kind of like in a lost place. My brother ended up getting diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and I just needed like something to ground me. So I did a life coaching course with Martha Beck, also a lesbian who I love. And weirdly, I was like, oh, I'll just use this for my writing and for my, to help my followers. And then I ended up taking some clients and got certified. So I also do that as well. And I incorporate writing into my practice.
That's
But
beautiful.
my main thing is always going to be writing. And I just launched a column on Substack called Mascara Lesbian. And it is a sex and dating column. And it's like, feels like I'm coming back home to myself, writing about the sex and dating again. I love it.
That's amazing. Okay, so you pronounced it mascar.
Well, you know what it is? I feel like I sound like such a pretentious asshole when I say that. It's my mom is English, and
Oh.
certain words, yeah, I think certain words I cannot say with an American accent, even though I was born here. But I can't
Oh,
say mascara. Like it doesn't roll off the tongue.
rough.
So it's just, but yeah, it's mascara is just how yeah.
Gotcha. I was like, am I pronouncing this wrong? I thought it was
No,
mascara, like for like your makeup, but
no.
like lipstick. But okay, so that's a play on words. Obviously, we're
Yeah.
both lipstick lesbians. Is the mascara lesbian a play on that? Like, where did you get the inspiration for that name?
Yeah. I started, so I had like a gay guy friend who one day was like, "You're not a lipstick lesbian, like you're a mascara lesbian," because I wear a lot of mascara and not as much lipstick because I like to make out. And I was like,
Same.
I like that. Yeah, right? Exactly. And it's like with women, it can just look like a murder scene. Um, so I started calling myself a mascara lesbian, and it ended up catching on. This was when I was at Elite Daily. And I just told everyone like, "Oh, how do you identify?" "Oh, mascara lesbian, mascara lesbian." And like I made like a little bit of merch that said mascara lesbian. And I'm just like, this season of life, let's go back to it. So
Oh my gosh. So that like makes you like you're the original girl with lashes who's like a lesbian. Cuz a few years ago when I was doing more like business coaching, people would say, "Oh, we know your brand from lips and lashes." Cuz I had like a little
mm.
bit thicker lip injections and I do oh god, why am I going to blank on it now that I want to talk about it on the podcast? Latisse. This it's like
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
yeah, so my lashes get really long. I actually only really apply one coat of mascara, but it's so funny because I would consider myself more of a mascara lesbian too because I love to kiss. So on dates, the most I do is like some lip gloss
Yeah.
because it's gonna get everywhere.
It's
Yeah.
gonna get everywhere. It's gonna get everywhere. Yeah, no, your lashes are so long. I just started Latisse. It works wonders, but I can't like break the habit of multiple layers of mascara. I'm like, it's never
Totally
enough.
get it. Can I give you like the Latisse tip that changed my life?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, please.
So everyone's like, Latisse, there's so much like controversy around it. I know someone listening to the show is going to be like, oh, I needed to hear this. There's controversy because it can remove the fat under your
Hmm.
eyes and make you look older and it can darken your eyes. So what I do is I use very little and I can make a bottle that's what, I don't know, $150, $200 last about 8 months. And I do it by doing it every third day. And on the other 2 days, I do the Ordinaries eyelash serum, which is literally like
Ah,
$27. Yeah.
okay.
So
That's a
I've
good
done
tip.
it really is, and I've done it for now 4 years. I've maybe have been through 5 bottles of Latisse in 4 years. So that's a really good investment considering most girls go in and get like lash extensions and all these things.
Yeah,
Yeah. So anyway, just wanted to
yeah.
throw that out there. It's
I
healthier
love
for
that.
you. You lose less fat because I don't want to have to do no judgment to anyone who does filler in their face. I'll do it one day, but not yet. It's not
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
don't like filler either. I did it one time and I hated it. So I want to avoid the filler and I'm worried about I heard the thing about the fat dissolving. So
Yes.
good tip.
Very little, just the tiniest little line. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. So you went through a terrible heartbreak. That's what led to your whole career literally starting. I relate to you so hard because my life, like my personal life, became what made my TikTok grow. And now I'm back to having a really private personal life, except when I talk about like sex, right? On the podcast. That's
Okay.
about it.
Right.
But like everything's, I got nervous about sharing it. Like it gave me a lot of anxiety and like it made me feel like an emotional hangover. How do you
Mm,
handle that? Because it sounds like you've been doing it a lot longer than me.
yeah, I would say my emotional hangovers are so much worse when I'm not sharing. Like if I go
Mm.
through something in my life like for instance, when my brother was sick and he passed away about 5 months ago, and we were best friends. He was private and he didn't really want me. He was shy about letting anyone know that he was, dying of cancer. And I had this huge thing, and I had to, I couldn't share it. And that made me feel like emotionally sick almost. And for me, it's like the healing is in the sharing. And even when it
Yeah.
comes to like sex or like making mistakes or embarrassing things, I'll hold on to the shame until it's released into the world. And then the
Yes.
shame dissipates. So I don't know if I'm
Yes.
just wired for sharing. Like I feel like vulnerability has always kind of came a little bit naturally to me. And so I don't have that thing. I mean, I've been embarrassed, I've been shamed, I've been canceled. You do this long enough, it's gonna happen.
Really?
But like then you also realize like that stuff doesn't kill you and you move
No.
on, and the internet moves so quickly. Nobody cares, And I just think
Yeah.
for me, as long as I'm speaking my truth, I don't, I want to share it, I guess.
I love that. That's really beautiful. And I can relate to what you said about the like it feels kind of heavy until you share it because then it's like, okay, the shame is undone when you share it. I feel like there's power in sharing our stories before someone else can share it for us. And
Right.
I do feel the bigger I go in this world of online, like I have to like put things out there before someone's gonna put it out there for me. Like when it comes to
Yeah,
like a breakup or who I'm talking to. But there's also this part of me that's now like, oh, I just want to have something that's mine and like my future partners. Like,
yeah,
so I'm
for sure.
balancing that. How does your partner handle it? Like you sharing everything,
It's
like
funny.
sex.
Yeah, all that stuff. I mean, I definitely respect her. So if something, I try and put the focus more on me. So if I'm writing about something in our relationship or we have a fight or something like that, it's more, I've learned how to do it where it's more coming from my perspective, and I kind of will leave things that I know she would be uncomfortable with out of it and turn
Hmm.
it back to me. But
Yeah.
she's my girlfriend works in the music business, but behind the scenes. And so she's used to being around artists that share and that are like, open. She loves what I do. She respects it like as the art form. And I think she trusts the boundary thing. She knows that
Mm.
I won't exploit her, I
Yeah.
think she kind of likes it. I think, I mean, I told a story like in New York. I did a reading maybe a couple months ago, and I told like the story was about her like fishing my diva cup out of my vagina when it was like stuck. And
Yes.
she loved it. She was like, hell yeah, I did do that. So whoever I'm with would have to be cool with it,
Down.
because I
How
don't want to dull who I am.
you can't. And I totally get that too. Like I actually have people sign like a content contract and stuff if we go on more than like 3 dates because at
Oh,
some point, if there would be a breakup, I need to be able to use that content for 30 days. The team may have drafted it. I don't want any issues. So
that's
I,
smart. That is
yeah.
so smart because I dated somebody when I first moved to LA, right when my brother got sick, vulnerable place. Dated somebody I highly regret dating. Like I ended up getting a restraining order. It was
Oh my God.
terrible. But
No.
she's like threatened to sue me several times. And I don't even write about that because I'm saving that for my book. Um,
Yeah. She
but
can't
like
though.
even
Like,
no, you can't if it's true. It's not,
it's
it's
not
not like
slander.
libel. Exactly. But I won't even write about her. I'll just write about a toxic relationship and be giving advice to my young readers. And she will think it's about her and like
Oh yeah.
threaten my lawyer. And I'm like, bitch, you're just, don't fuck with the writer because we will describe you. But
We
that's
will
smart.
describe you. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
you definitely need to do that. Like I can even like email you my little like go-to contract because obviously get your own lawyer and stuff. But
Yeah.
I think it's so important doing what we do. And I know there's other like lesbian influencers listening who are like, oh shit, I should probably do that. But
Yeah.
it makes it hard, and maybe you're not a creator like us, but you're listening and you've had like this ex-girlfriend like tell you you're not allowed to tell stories from your relationship. That is just proof of how controlling they were or how toxic they were when they're like, oh, you shouldn't talk to people about that. I'm like, then you shouldn't have been an asshole.
Right, exactly. Should have done the thing if you didn't want me to talk about it. You're right.
Yeah.
That is I think that's a really, the older I get, that's a really big red flag. Anytime I've dated someone who is like controlling about the narrative, it never ends well. Like they're a
Yeah.
controlling person. They're obsessed with how people perceive them. And I feel like when you're
Yes.
that obsessed, it's usually because like I don't even think about it because I'm like comfortable with who I am and my integrity and my morals. It usually means you're doing something shady if you're that like, don't talk
100%.
about me. Yeah.
Yeah, but because what they do, this type, is they get excited that they're dating you, which I'm sure you've had. They go
Hmm.
tell all their friends, but they're a secret like on your stuff. Like people know you have this girl in your life, you're talking about her, you're sharing all these things, but then they get really picky about what you say when it ends, even though you never disclosed who they are. It's a whole
Right.
thing. Yeah.
It's a whole thing.
But
I'm
I can
curious
relate
though,
to
like,
someone.
yeah, yeah. I'm curious, like, how do women respond? Are they cool? Like when you present them with something?
I've had very few women be cool with it, but at this point in my career, I refuse to date any low level thinkers. So if you're not
Hmm.
doing contracts in your daily work and in your business, then like we won't vibe anyway. And this should just be
Yeah.
a regular Monday for you. Look over the contract, send it to your lawyer, you know. So nowadays it's pretty normal. And I say it up front. I notice, especially when we're talking about shame and you sharing your story, there's certain things that people might be ashamed about sharing when they get into that talking phase of a new relationship or even just in the early stages of a relationship. And what I've learned is sharing what you really are looking for and what your deal breakers are right away will reduce the risk of someone coming back to be and say like, oh, I thought you were not like that, or oh, I thought you didn't care about that kind of stuff, or whatever it is, because that is something that I've noticed. And in the talking phases going forward in this last year, I've had so many women be like, I love that you just said that, like right away up front.
Mm.
No, I could never come back and be upset at you for it. That's actually really smart. And I've dated a couple lawyers and they say that to me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, good. Because you just get that
Yeah,
out the way up front. So, yeah.
totally. I think a mistake that I used to make when dating, I don't know if you ever went through this, but I remember like realizing it in my late 20s. I was like, I treat dates like they're auditions, and I
Yes.
would like find myself giving them the answer that I intuitively knew that they wanted, not necessarily
Mm.
because I liked them. It was like I needed the validation. I wanted a callback, like it's the second date, it's a callback. And then I'd wake up like 4 months later and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I don't even like this person. We have nothing in common. I've been hiding who I am. And it's just like, once I had that realization, I tell people up front. And also, I think it's cool to share some of your own quote red flags. Like, I'll tell someone
Yeah.
on the first date, I'm like, here's what I've been through. Sometimes I get triggered by A, B, and C. I could be really defensive. And like, I found women like it. People just
Yeah.
relax when you're honest, you know?
Yes. It's about being honest right away. And I love the way you just called it red flags because, like, so what if it is? It's true. Here's
Yeah.
my things that some people may not like about me. Let's just get it out the way. And then you probably will be met with more authenticity from them, which takes a lot of the guesswork out.
Right. Because once you open up about something, then it gives them permission. And then you're just having a realer, deeper conversation, I think, you
I love
know?
it. Maybe that's just the neurospicy about me though, the fact that like I see everything as like black and white and like contracts. Like people listening to this are probably gonna be like, Sophia, you take it a little too far. But I do see how much someone like me and you has our work and our business interlocked.
Yeah.
And it's hard to separate. It's just almost impossible. So yeah, okay. I'm curious about the love story that broke you down enough to like start writing. What happened? What was the first heartbreak?
My first heartbreak was like the first time I truly, truly fell in love. I was working at the teen outreach theater, and just we were together for a while, like probably 4 years. And then it just I feel like there's a specific heartbreak when you end something, because it's like, because I loved her so much, but it's like it was one of those things I had to choose myself. And I knew
Mm,
our lives would not be aligned. And I think I was like 25, and I was really starting to like think more deeply about those things. Like you can love somebody, but if your like goals are not aligned, and you're going to have to
mhm.
make a sacrifice where you're going to resent them forever. I remember my mom being like, you made the hard choice, and I made the hard choice. And
Aw.
like I was so, but didn't mean I wasn't devastated, and
Yeah.
she was also heartbroken. And I remember being like, oh, because I had had boyfriends, in high school. And I'm like, oh, this is what it feels like. This is what people write the songs about. Like like you think you're gonna die. Like I remember
Yeah.
being like, I feel like this could kill me. And then going forward, when it happens again, you're like, this sucks, but at least I know I will not die from it. I think that first one, and especially when your first love with a woman, when you've been with men in the past, is so intense because you give them that credit in a way. You're like,
Mm,
you give them so much power because they're unlocking emotions in you that you've never felt. But a
yes.
lot of those feelings are just feelings for a woman, but you're attributing it to them. And like they
Yes.
have this superpower. And I always tell my readers or clients or whatever, like there can be a power dynamic difference when someone is newly out, their first
Yeah.
relationship with a woman, and the woman has been in a lot of other ones. Like you're in a very vulnerable space. And I think I was in that space.
Yeah. And what I always share with my clients and my audience is the focus we give someone is what creates the love. I'm very like Abraham Hicks girly. I don't know if you know,
I
like,
love Abraham Hicks.
okay,
Love,
okay,
love.
cool. So,
Yeah.
like, what we put our focus on expands. And when we do that with an individual, we're choosing to bestow the love upon them. That love's going to expand. And that would happen with anyone. Yes, there can be chemistry with someone, and that's beautiful, but we can choose to put that love and focus on someone else again. And so your heart won't be broken forever. And it
Right.
feels like you're dying, though. It does. It feels
It's
like you're dying for a
it's
while.
physical. Like and I was heartbroken when my marriage ended as well, for like, and I feel like I take heartbreak so hard. I have some friends that seem to move on a lot faster. I think I love very deeply. I have a hard time letting go in general in my life to things. But
What's
I
your
remember I
sign?
was like, I'm a Taurus. What about you?
I'm a Taurus rising. I see the
Oh,
similarities
okay.
here, but I'm a
Yeah.
Gemini. So, the communication, all that stuff. I wouldn't be shocked if you were a Gemini rising.
I'm a Scorpio rising,
Okay.
which I feel like makes some sense. Like I can present a little Scorpio, but I love Geminis and I have a lot of them in my life. My brother was a Gemini. Like I get Geminis.
Hmm. I'm sorry about your brother. I literally can't
Oh,
imagine. I can't
yeah.
imagine. Okay, I'm sorry for interrupting. I just had to know your sign.
No.
Okay,
No.
continue on.
Perfect. I don't, what were we talking about? We were talking about, what I love what you were saying though about it's so true. It's like you feel again like it's this person, and part of it is, but you're right. It's a lot of like you focusing all of your energy and your love onto someone. It's almost like being in love gives you this opportunity to like tap into your like love, if that makes sense. Like
Mm,
it's not 100% about the person. I mean, they're
yeah,
important. I'm not saying like they're not important, but like you said, it's like you can feel it again with somebody, and
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
but that had to be hard to leave knowing that your values wouldn't align, which compatibility, I will say 20 out of 10 as a matchmaker, most important thing in the world over any other looks or chemistry. Compatibility is everything. So you leave, what was like the deal breaker for you of like my life's going in this direction, your life's going in this direction, and it had to be big, right?
Yeah, I realized like I wanted to go back to New York. I've always wanted a big life. Like out of the womb. Like I wanted to be famous when I was little. I loved acting, and beyond that, that's not really a goal anymore, but I just wanted to live big, travel the world. I'm the type of person like I don't want to just do this. I want to do it
Yeah.
better than anybody. And she wasn't wired that way, and I could tell I was dulling that part of myself, and then she was dulling the part of herself that wanted a more chill life, and just like
Yeah.
work ethic differences.
Yeah.
That's a big one for me. I'm realizing like I like to be energized by somebody else who wants something big for their career, and she
Yeah.
didn't have that. And I just like this gut feeling of like this isn't, and I knew too, I was like, this isn't my person. I love her, but she's not my person.
Mm.
And I had to take that risk. A part of me was like, oh no, what if she is? I was doubting it. Same with when I left my marriage, because I loved her as well, but I just had that gut feeling like this isn't my person. And I think sometimes you have to take a bet on yourself and your intuition, and you might feel nuts. Like I went from like, my ex-wife and I had this fabulous apartment in New York City, lived a great life. People were shocked when we got divorced. Like people looked up to us in our community. My followers like loved her, knew her. So it was definitely shocking. And then I remember when I left, I like went back home, was living with my parents in Florida, like in my teenage bedroom. Like, did I just
Mm.
like really screw up my life? But then it's like you have to trust it, because then now like I met somebody who it's like I feel like, oh, this is what it's supposed to feel like. Like that doubt is
Mm.
never even there. So I'm so glad I did.
Interesting. Okay, real quick, I need to tell you about Wisp, an online healthcare service that is for the girls, gays, theys, and me. In fact, for 3 years, they have been a part of my daily regimen. I know many of you listening long to create beautiful, women loving women relationships. And that, my dears, begins with excellent kitty care. Like, no offense, I don't know about you, but I personally don't want to be at a kitty cat cafe, if you know what I mean, that doesn't provide the freshest dessert for me to lick. So do unto others as you'd have them do unto you, and keep your kitty cat cafe fresh. With Wisp, everything from the consult to receiving meds is done from the comfort of your phone, and the company is proud of being inclusive, cost effective, and accessible for everyone. Wisp believes that you know your body better than anyone else, which means no more urgent care visits for issues such as UTIs, yeast infections, or STI treatment. You can save so much time not going to in person appointments or waiting in line at pharmacies. The free shipping will save you so much time. Or same day pharmacy pickup can have you feeling better faster. Before Wisp, I was prone to getting BV, but my kitty pH balance stays perfect. Chef's kiss now that I am on a consistent probiotic regimen. Ladies, this is so important. Personally, I subscribe monthly to Wisp Probiotics, Sexy Time Lube, and OMG Cream. It's like female Viagra. I also get D-mannose and boric acid vaginal suppositories as needed, so I'm prepared if something starts to fill off down there. Also, if you're about to meet a new partner from my lesbian dating platform, you definitely want to be tested before sleeping with someone new. You can order discreet online testing from your bed before you jump into bed. Go to the link in the show notes to learn more, or go to hellowisp.com and use my code SOPHIA for 15% off. That's code SOPHIA, SOPHIA, for 15% off all your kitty needs. You're welcome. Okay, back to the show. Okay, so
Yeah.
when you married your ex-wife, was there a little like doubt on the wedding day? Like,
Yeah. I don't think I've ever said it out loud. I have, maybe. Regardless, I want to like talk openly about it, because a lot of people I think have that
yeah,
doubt,
yeah.
and you just shove it down. And I remember like months before Googling, like, is it normal to like feel
Mm,
panicked? And I had a column at the time called Confessions of a Lesbian Bride to Be. And I would write like, oh, I have this like bridal malaise. Like I couldn't get like that excited about the wedding. And I was like acting like, oh, so this is totally normal. Okay, it's just like I'm just not like that. But I realized, like in hindsight, like it was just my body's cues. And we had a beautiful wedding, a big, beautiful, like over the top wedding, featured
Wow.
in like the cut, like New York Magazine. It was like a thing. Like we had a unicorn and a mermaid. Like it was so over the top. And I
Whoa.
think you also get to this place where you're like, and I'm glad I had that. And I do think she was meant to be in my life. And I have nothing but love for her in my heart. But like, I think, people get married all the time when they deep down have that doubt. And I don't actually think it's normal to have that personally.
Yeah. Okay, so what is the feeling of like safety and security in this new relationship? Like, when do you sense
You
that? Like,
know,
are there moments?
yeah, it was so strange. Like I've never experienced anything like it. I was off the dating apps for like the first time ever.
Good
This
for you.
was a little over a year ago. Yeah, I'm a big dating app person, but I was off them because it was an intense time in my life. My brother was dying. I had a restraining order against this ex. So I'm like a walking red flag, as well. Like these are two heavy things. And I was telling everybody, like, Zara is closed for business. I am not dating. I am rarely single in my life. I was like, I need to be single. And I remember saying to a friend the night before we met, just out in the wild, which I didn't even know could happen anymore. But I remember saying to a friend, I don't want to get in a relationship, but if I were to get in one, and when I do, I want to date somebody who is like in the arts or entertainment, but isn't trying to be an artist. Maybe they're an agent or a producer, but they get artists and like they understand what I do, they won't undermine it. So like that's what I want. You know what, like maybe it would be nice to date somebody Jewish. Like I've never cared about that, I'm not religious, but just from like a cultural perspective, I was like, maybe that would also be. Never dated another Jewish person. And literally the next night we're at this event in LA called the Lesbian Supper Club, and it's like a more high end, lesbian event, a little bit older. I went with a group of friends. She was friends with the group I went with. And like instantly I was like, oh, I'm fucked. Like I just like, and we had so much chemistry. And of course,
Oh,
me being who I am, as soon as I feel attracted to someone, it's like I'll be nice to everyone. I have to be kind of like, it's like a tick. Like I have to kind of be a bitch to them. So we got into this like huge debate about Taylor Swift. I was mansplaining the music business to her, not knowing that she was like an executive, high up in the music world. So I'm like, how music works. And Taylor Swift is so talented because A, B, and C. And then
I was
like
about to
later I was
say, you
like, what do
better
you
say
do?
she's talented. I was
Oh,
like,
I
where do you
love her.
stand?
I'm a huge Swiftie. So I'm like mansplaining to her, find out she works in music. And she was a good debater back. And I was like, oh, damn, this is hot. And like we just had that chemistry, and we ended up, getting pretty drunk, all of us. We all went out. And I remember I said to her, I was like, you're really hot. And she was like, should we make out? And I was like, yeah, let's wait till our friends leave. And then, of course, we were just like wildly like making out. And the rest is honestly history. But it's the first time I can say, like, in my soul, like, I have never thought like there could be somebody better, if
Oh,
that makes sense.
wow. Ooh,
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
good, settled feeling. That's amazing.
Yeah.
In a world of like so many options on dating apps, social media, to feel there's nobody better. This is my person. Like, that is solid. Love it. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
curious. What's your type? Like, what does she look like?
She's very, very much my type. Like long hair, so feminine in that way, but not as feminine as I am. And
Right.
kind of has a masculine energy in that she's like a boss bitch,
Ooh.
super, super career focused, can negotiate, can kind of do all the things I struggle with, she's like awesome at. And I think I help her with the things she struggles with. But I love like an assertive, masculine energy on a feminine woman to me is super
Yes.
hot. Yeah, yeah.
So hot. I agree. I agree. I love, and I also like it the other way too. I like really masculine women who have like this like really soft, like feminine side
Yeah.
that they only let you see as well.
Yeah,
So
no, I love that. And she has that too, where it's like she's such a boss. She's so smart, sharp, quick, but she's so sensitive. Like
mm,
she's as sensitive, maybe even more than I am, and can be so doesn't struggle with vulnerability. We cry. Like I need that as well because I feel like it's so hard to connect on a deep level if someone isn't willing to be vulnerable, if that makes
yeah.
sense. Yeah.
How long have y'all dated for?
It's been a little over a year since we met, but
So
like a
exciting.
lesbian style. I was like, we're not gonna like rush. And then like a month later, we were like in Europe together, like traveling and like, it's so hard being a lesbian to pace
Oops.
things. Yeah,
It
exactly.
really is. Especially like you're lucky you live in LA. She's probably like your neighbor. But like for us lesbians who live in like rural areas, the South, like you meet someone and then you end up having to like travel all the time just to see them. So you do move pretty fast. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Where are you based?
I'm in Lafayette, Louisiana, which is like 2 hours from New Orleans and pretty small.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty
Okay.
small. Yeah. Everyone's like, how are you there? And I'm like, because the internet. Like, I
Yeah, exactly.
don't technically have to be anywhere to do what I do. So, yeah.
Right. I love that. I love the internet and like the freedom. Is there like a queer community there?
There is, but I'm not like a big that the reason I developed the queer country club is truly because I am shy and I'm introverted.
Mm,
So for me, hanging out online feels more comfortable than going out in real life. And like big events don't give me
mm,
energy. They like really drain me actually.
me too.
So really, really.
It's a lot of my friends that like, because most of my like tight circle are people that do things that are similar to what we do. And I have found that people that are like very honest, open on the internet, have a platform, are all like that. And I feel like it gives us this ability to connect with people on
Yes.
our terms, you know?
Yes.
But I could like
Yes.
share everything with you in this context, but like the thought of making small talk at an event is like exhausting and
Yeah.
horrible to me.
But I'd still be like, let's go have like martinis and caviar, like
Yeah,
oysters. Like I'd want to do that. I don't
me
want to go
too.
like, yeah, I don't know. It's a big group for me that's like really intense. Like I do retreats for women, but they're not more than like 10 women per retreat. Like
That's so great.
yeah, anything bigger than that, I'm like, I get overwhelmed. And one thing that I promise my community is I'll never host something or sell you something that I wouldn't want to do myself.
Mm.
So, like for me, like everyone's like, oh, Sophia put together a big lesbian festival. And I'm like, I don't like big lesbian festivals.
Me neither. Oh, I want to go on one of your retreats. It's for single people?
It is for single people. I pray you stay with your girlfriend forever. But if there's ever any reason, you would be like the guest of honor. Would love to
I
have
would
you.
love, that sounds, yeah, I love like also, I think one of the hard things about being LGBTQ plus is that like, not, I mean, it's a beautiful thing, but like so much of our like socializing are big parties. And when I was living in New
Yeah.
York and I was running a lesbian magazine that was really like part of the nightlife, I would go to all these big, I felt so uncomfortable,
Oh, I
in
bet.
that whole big lesbian party world, like just not my thing. And the intimacy, like of being with like 10 women on a retreat, like that's where I thrive. Like I would say I thrive in the book club more than like the
Yes.
nightclub. Book club is
Yes.
wine, but like, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that's so speaking of book club, you have like this audio book thing that's like with sound effects and sounds like you're like listening to a movie. It's really cool. What do you call such a thing? And like this seems so unique.
Thank you. The problem and like with my agents, like we've been trying to sell it. And I think part of the problem is like there's not a good term for it. The technical term is audio drama, but to me that sounds like it's from the 1800s. So then I started calling it a fiction podcast, but then that doesn't really sell it quite either because I wanted to elevate it with the sound. And how I came up with the idea was actually again, I was kind of like my personal life was falling apart, but I didn't feel comfortable writing about it for my partner's sake, you know. I didn't want to exploit, you know, what was really happening between us. So I like got lost in this fiction world. And at first I was like, should this be a book? My book had just come out, and I was like, I don't want to wait 2 years to put this out. By the time you get the deal, you do all the bells and whistles, it's 2 years. This feels very current. It was COVID. Was like, I think people could use the escapism. So then I started talking to my readers, and I was like, you know, what? And I found out most of them don't read books. They're like, we read yours because we've been following your work for so long, but like, you know, the attention span, or it can feel overwhelming to pick up like a dense book. And they were saying they listen to things because
I'm
they
like that.
can,
Yeah.
yeah, they can multitask as well. And that's our culture now. And I love, you know, because I have an acting background. So I love, like, I doing my audiobook was like, I had the most fun in my life. People hate it, but I loved it. So I was like, maybe I should, rather than putting it out all at once, you know, make it serialized. So that way people aren't as overwhelmed. So each episode is like 45 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes. There's going to be anticipation. And then again, it's like if I do something, I can't just like do it normal. I have to make it so much harder. Then I was like, you know what? Like, no wonder books are struggling. Like, we have these amazing series and podcasts that have like theme songs and good art. So then I was like, oh, I want music. I'm going to do this, sound effects, music, and all of it. And it was a ton of work, but a real labor of love.
I feel like you're on the cusp of something so big. Like, sincerely, I can feel it in my bones. Like, you're gonna
Thank
start something
you.
that, yeah, like this is the start of something amazing. And as a kid, my mom would put on, I don't know if you had these because I know we're slightly different generations, but she'd put on the cassette tapes of Disney movies. So there'd be some music, but also someone reading the book. And what you're describing feels like those long car rides where I would look up and like 3 hours later we'd be somewhere. And I
Mm,
was totally in another world because of the sound effects. And we don't have
mm.
any adult books like that at all.
Right. And when I did my audiobook, I was like, we're wasting an opportunity to, like, if we're going to go audio, like, let's go audio. Let's have the music, the sound effects, accents, you know, like, let's actually do it. And
Yes.
I was like, why aren't people doing it? So then I knew I had to do it, but and I think probably you've had this experience because you're very innovative. It's really hard to kind of be at the beginning of something though,
Yeah.
as far as like convincing the men in the suits, you know, my agents at like CAA, you know, like it's hard for them to like, they're like, we love this, but like, we don't really know how to pitch it. So then it's like, okay, I'll pitch it myself and try and do it myself. But like, it's been hard, you know, to even describe it to people.
Okay, but hear me out. The other day I was listening to Oprah's podcast, and the guy who wrote like the chicken soup for the soul shit, you know that
Mm,
book. It like sold like
yeah.
bajillion copies. He was told no 200 times. 200
Mm,
times. And now his book, I think it's just 300 million in China alone, I think was the number that I heard.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's insane. Wow.
Yeah. So
I
just
know.
keep that faith up because I believe in it.
Yeah.
How do
Thank
my
you.
listeners start listening to this audio experience now? Like how do they get their hands
S-
on that?
Yeah, so it's free on all podcast platforms, Spotify. You just put in Girls on Jane.
Okay.
It's like a play on words because Jane Street in like the West Village, you know, is one of my favorite streets. And then Jane, you know, like Jane Doe, girls, I don't know. That's kind of how it started. Um, but yeah, you could just put in Girls on Jane and it's everywhere. And I thought that was also like a thing, like, you know, books are, it's a very tough industry, publishing, and books don't sell that well, you know, unless you're a celebrity or you really hit something. It's really hard to sell books in this culture. So I'm like, rather than getting mad about it, like, why don't we just figure out how to get our work out there in a way that's palatable to the people? And like, everyone is on, you know, Spotify or Apple Podcasts. People love it. And I know for me, I love to just like listen to people talk. and I love to talk, but sometimes like I want a linear story. So, and I found a
Yeah.
lot of people felt that way. Like not every day do you just want, sometimes like I want a story, I want drama, I want a cliffhanger, So I
Yes.
tried to give that. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so if someone's listening for the first time, do they go back to the very first episode? Like, where should
Yeah.
they start? Okay.
Yeah, I definitely think the first episode, and because that kind of sets the stage, and it's two seasons as of now, and it picks up, each one picks up, the characters develop, all of that.
So exciting. I'm definitely going to be listening. I'm going to put a link
Thank
in the show
you.
notes for everyone to listen. And also
Yeah.
beyond that, you just launched Mascara Lesbian. So tell us about that.
Yeah, and I also do that in audio as well. I don't do all the sound effects because
Okay.
it's a column, but I record them. So if people, because again, I think a lot of people listen instead of read, and I don't care how you get there as long as you get there. But Mascara Lesbian is my new sex and dating column. I've done 3 installments. I actually did one, and I'm curious what you are. I did one yesterday. Are you a practical lesbian or a cinematic lesbian? And I
I'm
feel
definitely a
like,
sinner. Go, you tell
yeah,
me.
I feel like there are two very different kinds of lesbians. There are the lesbians that are dramatic and, it's like being inside the movie Blue is the Warmest Color. It's like dramatic and passionate. And maybe there's like fights and like, deep love and a love for love and drama and theater.
Yeah.
Like there is that type. And then there is just as many that are the practical lesbians that like have the cooler with the wheels, very efficient, they're very like they have stable jobs and it's like there's so many practical lesbians and we're so different. And I'm a
So different.
cinematic lesbian. My girlfriend's a cinematic lesbian. I do think the two can make for a really good match if they respect each other's differences and don't shame or try and change one another.
Yeah.
And people think like, oh, is it like feminine women are more cinematic? And no,
No.
I mean the amount of mass presenting women that have like, I mean, look at Melissa Etheridge, like the way she sings about like longing and the lesbian intensity, the eye contact, like there are a lot. You could be either or,
Yes.
so it has
Yes.
nothing to do with butchness or femininity, how would
Thank
you
you.
say you're practical or cinematic?
I'm a cinematic, but with like very big goals that if anyone wastes my time, because I know you associated like efficiency with practical lesbian. So I guess I think I lean cinematic, but I've got extreme like what I did this morning before talking to you is insane. I did 2 sales calls. I prepped for the podcast. I did hair and makeup for this and filmed a healthcare commercial because I don't turn money down. I still have like my little side hustle. So like yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of crazy. Oh, and approved of a match for a client from my co-matchmaker.
See, to me, that just sounds like you have an amazing work ethic. And I think you can
Yeah.
have the amazing work ethic and not want to waste your time and also be cinematic. And in
Yeah.
fact, having these big ambitions that you have and being like, a creative entrepreneur that does something unique with your life, to me sounds more cinematic. Like, I feel like the practical can be anything from like, a movie producer who's just logistics, or they could be like a firefighter, which we have a lot in
Yeah.
our community, so but they're more
Thank
practical
you for
jobs. I feel like with what you're doing with your life is like less practical and more like extraordinary.
it's more like, oh my God, that that trend on Instagram. Do you see it where it's like I told him I was a blah blah blah, and then like you share what you actually are, and then it's like holy fucking airball. Have you seen that trend?
No,
Okay,
no,
you have to do it. Like, oh,
I
I
will.
said I was a lesbian writer, and they're like, oh, so you write like little lesbian love poems, and then you would put like, no, I literally create audio experiences that no one in any book industry has done so far, but like whatever your accomplishments are, and then put holy
Yeah,
fucking airball. It's look up that trend. You should rock it.
I
You should rock
will. I will.
it.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think a certain type of woman I found in dating, if I say I'm a writer or do some, a writer, podcaster, all the things I've done, I almost feel like they automatically think I'm like, oh, it's like just a cute thing I do, like, what's your real job kind of thing. Like I've
Yeah.
had that condescending and I got so tired of it. So I'm so glad I'm with somebody in the arts now, who gets it. But I don't know, have you ever come across like people who can't really wrap their brain around the fact that you do what you love and you make money?
Yeah, so last year I was at Velvet Ibiza in Spain.
Mm.
And I was like so excited because it was my first like lesbian festival thing. And I had never been around this many lesbians from where I live. I'm not like in LA like you are. And this girl came up to me and she was, God, she was so weird. I pray for the people who are this unfuckable because she literally came up to me and like clawed my jacket, clawed with her fingernails, and then was like, I've been watching you for 2 days. And so I thought, okay, she's really creepy and not cute, but I'm gonna give her a moment because like that's really a big compliment. So she asked me like what I did for work, and I asked her what she did for work. But when I answered, she was like, you don't really make money doing that. I was like, girl, like if we had kids, I'd put them through college, but whatever. Okay. Like,
Right. It's so condescending. I used to get it all the time when I was dating, and then they'd see my articles on the internet and they'd be like, oh, like, so wait, it's like a real job. Like, no, bitch, like I work 12 hours a day. I have written
I know that.
4,000 articles. I'm repped by like a huge agency. I've had a book deal. Like, don't fuck with me,
I'm so proud of you with the book deal. And also, do
Thank
you
you.
coach people on their books? Because Lauren is who connected us. Is that something you're still
Yeah.
doing?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I love to like help people tell their stories. It's one of my greatest passions. And
Okay, well
I
then let me pitch you real quick because
yeah.
Lauren's book's freaking amazing. She's one of my past business coaching clients, and she just loved working with you and like told me she's like, you gotta meet Zara. Like this girl is the coolest lesbian ever, and like you, like she's so lesbian, but she doesn't even like look like the whole vibe.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
she's
yeah,
so
yeah.
feminine, like just she could sing your praises forever about how much you
Oh, I
helped
love her.
her. Yeah, she was amazing. So, like, if someone wants to work with you on that, do they just DM you on Instagram?
They can. I have a website, zaraberry.com. So, and where I like there's more information, testimonials, emails are at zaraberry.com. And I took a little break. I worked on a huge project with someone, took a little break to finish my next book. And I was just saying today, like I want another like book client because I love
Mm,
it. So great. And it's always like just a really special, I think, honor to help somebody really tell their story and help them find their voice as a writer. Everyone has so much magic inside of them. They just need someone to help pull it out. And I always say to them, it's like, you're the talent, you're the actor, and I'm the director. So this is like your
mm,
scene, it's coming from you. But an actor would never be in a play without a director to help them access, their emotions and make the performance what it is.
yeah.
So like that's what I feel like what I do with, my clients. Just pull the magic out, They all have it.
Yeah. Yeah, and everyone like has a story. I think it's hard to get it down in a structured way that makes it palatable to an audience. And it
Yeah.
sounds like you know how to do that for every freaking medium, which is so cool. I can already see your brain works on another level. Like I could see
Thank
it with
you.
like videos, like layers of video editing, but the like organizing Lauren's book, the way that it's so structured and you just want to keep turning the pages, I'm like, wow, Zara's really talented. I know it's Lauren's story, but the structure.
Yeah, then that's the thing. Like, unless you do this for a living, would you even understand? Like, you could be a good writer, but books are such an animal, of their own. So, like,
Yeah.
people wouldn't know, like, you don't start your memoir at childhood because they don't care about you yet. So it's going to be boring. You've
Yeah.
got to start like the worst day of your life when everything fell apart, high drama, and then you like then you peel back to the childhood. But like, you know, they're
Yes.
just like things that people don't think about or know. And like, I really love it.
You can tell. You're really good at everything you do. I'm
Thank
really
you. I'm
honored
really bad
to.
at everything else in life though. Like I'm one of those people I can own like I'm good at what I'm good at, but then everything else I'm terrible at. So
I mean, it's okay to be so extraordinary at one thing, or like the few things that we are as like creators, whatever your creative genius is,
hmm
your God-given ability. To be truly extraordinary at something is what people are going to remember over being average at everything, honestly.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just feel like you know, I see it with like a lot of friends and just people in my life where I'm like, I just want to see more people utilizing their gifts in work, you know, and like
Yeah.
build a life that honors what you're good at rather than trying to fit into this thing that you hate and that you're bad at, you know?
Amen. Amen. I hope that we've had a lot of women listening who feel seen in the fact that like we're two queer women who have like really big goals, really big dreams. And that's
hmm
really who the show is for. Cause I feel like sometimes in queer culture, basic queer dating apps, like you feel kind of lost and like
Totally.
yeah, like this isn't my these aren't my people. And
Yeah.
if you're listening to this and you came from Zara's audience, I just wanted to share I have a lesbian dating platform that is extremely different and has women like me and Zara inside who care about their careers, who are passionate about something in life and who want to build their life with a partner. And I know it's hard to find someone who cares about their values and who's going to give you all those red flags immediately like we talked about, but that's the kind of women that I am attracting in my marketing and that we scan for this community. So if that's you, go to queercountryclub.com and apply. If you're coming from my audience and you've never heard of Zara before, I really want you to go in the show notes and check out Mascara Lesbian. Go listen to Girls on Jane. You're going to love it. I cannot wait to go listen
Thank
myself
you.
and like download them for my next plane ride. That's my plan. So
And honestly, what you're doing is so needed. If I was single, I would be like the first to sign up. Because like you said, I don't want to waste my time, you know? So it's like to just have a curated group that is more elevated and you don't have to
yeah.
like go through all it's exhausting and like I don't want to waste my time bored on a date with someone I just know I'm like settling because I can't. And it's hard out there. So I think what you're doing is
It
so, so
is.
cool.
Thank
So
you.
cool.
And I hope your relationship lasts forever. But if for some reason, I would hook you up with the most extraordinary, successful private clients. I'm just, you would be an easy
Amazing.
sell. They'd eat you up like ice cream, you know? So,
My girlfriend, if you're listening to this, you got to step it up.
yeah, no, she didn't hear it.
Step it
If you're
up.
listening, you heard how much Zara like is obsessed with you.
She knows. Yeah,
She
she totally
knows.
knows.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I'm getting over bronchitis and I'm like, I'm gonna laugh. I can feel like the coughs coming
Oh,
out.
yeah.
Anyway, this was so fun. Thank you so
So
much for being
fun.
here. And I look forward to sharing your work with my audience and genuinely just getting addicted to this story myself because that I'm a little kid on the inside. I'm a little Disney gay. So I feel like you've got
Love
some
it.
magic in this.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, thank you so much for having me. When I relaunch my podcast, I would love to have you as a guest in the process of
Yes.
figuring all that out. But yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Whenever that happens, please message me. I am 100% in. Let's go.
100%. Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.